Hey everybody, it's Zach Hall, your friendly neighborhood game master here. I am kind of starting to branch out past the obviously fifth edition. Most of this channel is dedicated to me kind of when I was figuring out Pathfinder second edition for the first time, as I was trying to move away from fifth edition. A lot more people are doing that now in Q1 of 2023 for lots of people have different reasons, but there's obviously been a lot of turmoil in the space, encouraging people to check out different stuff. Recently published a video with the top 3 non D20 rule sets that I've been enjoying reading and learning about. And I was doing that video. I'm recording this the same day, and realized there is another product that I've always wanted to check out. I have kind of kept tabs on, but never actually looked at. And that is a product from Ian Publishing called Level Up, in parenthetical Advanced 5th Edition. It is a totally like it's a separate product. It's not like it's not a hack on top of the existing 5th edition rules. It is its own product that uses 5th edition. But I think I'm gonna open up the PDF here and we can take a look at it. But to me, it seems like kind of the mission of anybody calling themselves Advanced 5th Edition is adding potentially a little bit more crunch to a system that a lot of people think is lacking crunch. There are obviously people that think 5th edition is even too crunchy for their table. Completely fine. Have fun the way that you and your friends and your table want to have fun. Highly encourage you to check out my previous video about non-D20 systems. I talk about specifically talk about my enjoyment of Fate, a variable toolkit that can be extremely rules light, story forward there. But this is going to be for I think this might be an interesting look for people that have started to look at Pathfinder 2nd edition over the past couple of years as an alternative to 5th edition, where I'm still really enjoying Pathfinder and plan on continuing to play it for the foreseeable future. It's what I'm running for my game group right now. But I'm playing with several first-time people to my table. We are friends in real life, and this is a hobby that they wanted to try out, and I was wanting to try Pathfinder, and so we're having fun. But I do think, if I'm being honest with myself, that what they enjoy about the hobby is different than what I enjoy about the hobby, where I enjoy being able to express a certain level of mastery over the system and knowledge of the rule set, and my friends would like to do that but less, if that makes sense, which is just totally fine. Is what learning and getting to master what a system can do is part of what I enjoy about the hobby. It's also why I've kind of gotten into Magic the Gathering a little bit over the past several months, kind of like as a solo thing that doesn't rely on me being able to, ground up 3 to 5 players at any one given time. Because that's obviously like a rule set that requires mastery and stuff like that. So let's check out Level Up from Ian Publishing. This is the Adventurer's Guide. This is the cool core rule set for Level Up Advanced 5th Edition. I don't know whether to call it looks like they're referring to themselves as Level Up, not Advanced 5e. So I will do my best to continue to do that. Introduction seems fairly standard, but let's check out objectives and achievements. Most games, the main goal of Level Up is for everyone to have fun. However, unlike competitive game, okay, I was hoping this was going to be what makes us different than. Well, this is great. So they call the DM the narrator in Level Up. I will probably use all 3, DM, GM, narrator. Though I do like narrator in general as a term for that role. 3 prongs. We got combat, exploration, and social. Yep. Okay, so it looks like Ian has 2 settings that they've published. Burning Skies, which is a high fantasy setting during a period of conflict. And then Zeitgeist, step away from traditional fantasy world where ironclad industry is reshaping nations and magic coexists with steamships, trains, and the occasional dirigible. I actually love that. It sounds a little Eberron-esque, a classic D&D approaching like Steam level technology. Very cool. I'm just trying to skim some of these to see if there's anything that I want to call out. So we got a safety and accessibility section, which is great. They don't actually call out any specific tools unless this is supposed to be a bigger header and session 0 elements of play come after smaller. I don't think that's true though. If so, it's hard to tell with that layout. Session 0's cool. We know how the game works. They specifically call out group checks. So there's criticals and fumbles. On a natural 20 is a critical hit and always successful. Critical success, do they call out what exactly it is? Something unfortunate happens as well, so it looks like there might be a fumble table like officially in the rule set. Advantage, disadvantage, and expertise. Okay, sometimes for advantage we know they cancel each other out. Some class features or traits grant you an expertise die for an attack roll or saving throw, or in a specific skill or tool proficiency. When you make a d20 roll with which you have gained an expertise die, roll 1d4 and add the number to the result of your roll or check. You can never roll more than 1 expertise die in the same roll. If you have multiple class features or situations that grant an expertise die, you don't get another dice, but instead level it up. If you have advantage on at the same time as expertise die, you only roll the d20 twice. Okay. While advantage is most commonly used to represent circumstantial factors affecting a situation, expertise die typically represent the particular training a character takes into the adventure. I wonder if that's straight up replacing proficiency or if it's in addition to... All right. That was it for introduction. Jumping into character creation. The art is really cool, and I do enjoy this PDF layout. If this probably isn't actual gold in the printing. This is yellow probably, but it looks really nice, and I do like the layout a lot. Character creation. We're going to start by building Varia, the Elven Berserker. Berserker. New keyword. New class. Origins consist of four main aspects: heritage, culture, background, and destiny. I love, if y'all know, I've been following my journey over the past several years with Pathfinder 2nd edition. Part of the reason why I loved it was its character creation that, made background actually impactful, gave you a lot more flexibility in things like ancestry. This seems a step in that direction, which is great. When was this published? Let me look up something really quick. Okay, so this book was added to Drive-Thru RPG December 2021. So less than, it just hit its probably two-ish year anniversary, which it was being developed, play tested probably around the same time that Pathfinder 2nd edition was coming out. I wonder how influential maybe seeing Pathfinder 2e's playtest was for this, and the folks at EN. Do I recognize, I'm going to go back to the title, do I recognize any of a lot of designers? It doesn't look like it necessarily had one big person leading the charge, or they chose not to necessarily call that person out. Russ Morrissey is the publisher, and then all these designers. I'm not a huge, I don't know if I necessarily recognize these people. That does not mean that these aren't incredible designers. I'm sure they are, and I'm not so down deep with, never watched an actual play using Level Up. I don't know any other creators that have done this exploration through Level Up, so I legitimately don't know how popular it is, how big of a community it has. I've never even looked at a subreddit or anything like that. I think I know this product through maybe an older Kickstarter where they were creating additional 5e classes. Okay, so talk about Origins, which is kind of I guess all of the stuff kind of built up. Origins is one thing, and then your class is another thing. origins, heritage, culture, background, destiny. Varia is an elf with a protective personality who begins her adventuring career in her late 5th century. When enraged, she's a terrifying person to behold on the battlefield, but invokes a great sense of safety in those she seeks to protect. A veteran of war that ended centuries ago, Varia is called back to adventuring to relive her glory days, find herself amazed, and in some cases concerned with the changes that have happened since she's cool little, like, honestly, if that was the backstory I got from a player, like a little on the light side, I would ask for some proper names, especially if like the war is not necessarily something the setting invokes. So like, give me a proper noun. Where was it? Like, what was the end goals? But that, I would take that. A couple follow-up questions and we'd be good. So heritage, certain biological characteristics define some aspects of their physical appearance. Some things like character's speed and size is derived from the heritage. Choosing heritage grants your character access to additional traits. Love traits. I wonder if that's like traits as in like a trait system that they've tacked on to 5th edition. Or if they're using that as kind of like to describe things beyond speed and size that aren't necessarily mechanical but are on a character sheet usually. Find out. And a heritage gift, which helps you make your character stand out from the crowd. Example, a Dragonborn's trait allows them to do what dragons do best and exhale a breath on that ancestry that can burn, electrify, and even freeze. Meanwhile, some Dragonborn have scales like iron, while others have developed aquatic adaptation. A heritage trait is something everybody from a heritage has, and then gifts are options that differentiate almost like sub heritages. Very cool. So Varia as an elf has access to a number of traits including dark vision, fey ancestry, and the ability to enter a trance rather than sleep. Classic. She was born with the gift of preternatural awareness, and she has long relied on her keen senses both on and off the battlefield. Cool. So then we have culture, which could be like is separated from heritage. We're not going to assume that you grew up bog standard heritage stuff. I wonder if heritages open up or cultures open up an elf born or like raised among dwarves. I was kind of like doing that kind of mess, but it looks like this was mainly centered around the war horde that attracted her mercenary parents. So lots of flexibility there in culture. Obviously something that you can create your own usually. If culture tells how a character started, their background helps outline where their journey led. Number of backgrounds to choose from that provide bonuses to your ability scores. Woohoo! Things we'd love to see. Additional proficiencies and features your character can use while adventuring. That's just mechanics though. Thinking about the details of how, yeah. So she has the soldier background because she received, okay, so that's kind of flavor. But based on the soldier background, she gets a +1 to her strength and +1 to any other ability character score, which she has in charisma from all of her time working with her fellow soldiers as an impromptu weapons trainer. She also gains proficiency with athletics and then chooses between 2 others. And all right, destiny. This is new. All characters in the world have a destiny that they move towards. I love that incorporate. I love the idea of like obviously heritage being like your absolute beginnings, like who were you born to, like what is your biology made up of, origin or what is it, culture, like, but obviously your biology does not dictate everything. So like your culture is like who were you raised around, definitely like the nurture side of the nature nurture debate, both kind of providing things to you mechanically. Background is like, okay, now oftentimes this is something you've chosen with like in your adulthood or like once you had agency, like what did you choose to do? But then the idea of assigning and really creating something that is not past based, but is future based. To quote, I think it was Brennan Lee Mulligan that said like the best characters not only have a backstory, but they have a goal in mind. Like characters have a sense of movement, of trajectory. So it's giving destiny, putting that actually on a sheet and maybe mechanics too, of like, here's what you're pursuing, here's where you're trying to go. Like, I really do love that. Helps the narrator get an idea of what you're looking for as a player. Summation of their motivations, goals, and outlook. Provides your character an edge at key moments that would help them move towards that destiny. So Varia has the underdog destiny. She has little patience for those who bully and mistreat others, and surviving the unsurvivable on more than one occasion has left her more than willing to challenge openly what others would be scared to even discuss in secret. She gains inspiration from acts of defiance, as well as from good roleplay, just like any other player character, and can use the nose for trouble feature. So cool. Love that. All right, so then we have class, which is like what you do in the world. Class features, certain proficiencies. Depending on what class you choose between first and third level, you select a class archetype. They're keeping with like 5th edition subclasses that you get at like certain classes unlock at certain levels. This is my favorite. But I get why maybe a first level character of a certain class, all first level characters of a certain class might look more similar than first level of other characters. It takes them kind of a bit to differentiate. Skill specialties. At first level, you gain your first 2 skill specialties, chosen from skills you are proficient with. When you make an ability check, if you make an ability check to which your skill specialty applies, you gain an expertise die. You may not gain the same skill specialty twice, and if your intelligence is 12 or higher, you gain additional skill specialties, which we'll find out in chapter 6. So that's how you unlock expertise die, is you get to pick 2, almost like everybody getting a certain level in 5th, like bog standard 5th edition, where rogues get expertise. I think bards eventually get expertise, but like giving you, it's just another level of customization of like, okay, sure, like every soldier is good at athletics, but I'm especially good at athletics. So we have hit points and hit dice. You still have proficiency bonus. It starts at level 2. You round down and level up. Good to know. Your proficiency bonus, yeah. You still have all the same ability scores. They are determined. So how are they determined? 4 6-sided dice and recording the total of the highest 3. So they've codified 4d6, drop the lowest dice rolls. And then you're getting bonuses to certain ones based on your background, because you don't get that from, so rather than getting that probably, I think, in fiction, I think that makes sense. I like that it's not in heritage, like about the same. I would have really disliked it if it was in heritage like it is in 5th edition. I would have liked it less if it was in culture. Background is totally fine. I think I would have preferred maybe background giving you 1 and class giving you 1. Like background, choose 1 from 2 or 3 options, class giving you 1 out of 2 or 3 options, but 1 and free from background is cool. Like I like that it's not tied into like specific like biology stuff. And then you get to choose where you'd like to assign those numbers. Then they have an ability ray, which is a variant, 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. And then custom ability scores, which is a point buy. And then in their example, it looks like they went with gear, which one of the things I've liked or learned about Level Up is that they drastically crunchified gear for 5th edition, which is good, I think. Default, like, and I don't see a variant for not doing encumbrance. So like encumbrance is in the defense, looks the same. Still have saves for each ability. Weapon attacks, weapon damage, melee attacks use character's strength modifier or dexterity modifier, ranged use. And then some weapons with a thrown property allow you to some special attack. Basic combat maneuvers that you use to grapple or shove a creature. Instead, do an amount of damage called basic melee damage, which is equal to 1 plus your strength. Looks like proficiency bonus is the same as 5th edition. Basically static. It goes up every 4 levels. I don't like proficiency bonus in 5th edition. It feels like making up for bad math because it doesn't change for 4 levels. It's often kind of baked into the sheet, and it's not like proficiency bonus is not, it's not obvious to new players what it is or what the mechanic is trying to quantify in the fiction. Oddly enough, I think a crunchier version of proficiency in Pathfinder 2nd edition makes more sense, of like being able to be trained, expert, master, legendary. I feel instead of just everybody being like having the same proficiency bonus, it's just binary. You're either proficient or you're not. I don't know. It feels not as good. The expertise dice that Level Up has added does help, I think, a little bit with that. I wonder if the expertise die ever goes up at all based on level. Like 1d4 at or it also depends on how many class features, other things, the prevalence of adding expertise. Where it seems like right now it only seems like you're leveling up the expertise die if you're getting it from multiple sources. But if they called that out, I'm assuming that there's a lot of instances where there's overlap, and you would maybe even plan it that way to get that D6, D8 dice in expertise instead of the... so that was just the overview, and then they're actually diving in. Heritage, age, size, speed, heritage gift, and then a paragon gift. Later in the adventuring career, each heritage creates a paragon feature. Could be a completely new feature or something that improves or offers a new way to use a trait already granted. You can choose any culture for your character, even if it's not listed alongside your character's heritage. A dwarf can grow up in a wood elf creature, or a tiefling can hail from a cosmopolitan city. Mixed heritage, with your narrator's approval, you can choose a heritage gift from a heritage other than the one you originally chose, which allows for easy creation of adventures with parents of two different, and then just work with your narrator. That one is like, okay, like, we're passing this off to there's a lot of that going around in 5th edition. Why a lot of GMs and DMs get burnt out on the system and are looking to, change it up. Like, they want some hard and fast rules, but for something like that you do at character creation once and then don't have to worry about it again. There's a range of traits that come along with your culture. You gain all of the traits associated unless text says otherwise. There's languages and then a background. This table's nice. There's a lot of cultures. I mean, some of these are basically like sub-heritage, but then some of these are like cosmopolitan, lone wanderer, nomad, which are interesting that those are in cultures and not backgrounds, but I'm not mad about it. I wonder if this is all of the backgrounds. If so, that's a little disappointing, since that is where an ability score bonus is coming from. I would hope to see more backgrounds than culture. Like if I'm picking the nomad culture, guess I'm picking the hermit or the outlander background. But what if one of those doesn't do like optimal ability score that I hope exile work? And then destiny, chaos, coming of age, devotion, dominion, excellence, knowledge, metamorphosis, revenge, underdog. Cool. I feel like some of these you would have to kind of like, depends on your play group and like what your play. Chaos seems terrifying as a narrator, unless I was going into a campaign ready for that. Could see that being a problem. Ooh, a connection. So each background provides examples of one acquaintance, ally, or enemy that has had an effect on your character's life. Make sure to include your narrator when choosing your connection. You never know when they'll show up. Love that. So with each destiny, there's also fulfillment. Each destiny tells you what you must do to fulfill that destiny and what special feature you gain as a consequence for doing so. I love that. I wonder if there's any, like, alongside those, there's some direction on when to expect that fulfillment to happen. Like, if there's some guidance, or like what is the mechanical benefit to where, like, hey, narrators, don't do this until at least level 6 or level 8 or level 10. And I would communicate that to my players so that they don't think like I need to try to accomplish this like destiny fulfillment in like level 1 or 2. And it'd be interesting to like as even with higher level stuff, like with a one shot, like who really cares? Maybe you don't include destiny for like a one shot, but it'd be interesting to play high level characters that haven't fulfilled their destiny yet, to where like that becomes the campaign. Feel like that'd be pretty easy to kind of set up and do. So you have Dragonborn. They get Dragon Breath as an action. It's either a 30-foot line or a 15-foot cone. You get to pick the damage that it does. Gives you DC 2d6 on a failed saving throw, or half damage on success, and then it goes up every 5th level, and it regens on a short rest. So Dragonborn gifts, you have Draconic Armor, or Draconic Fins, or Draconic Wings. Your 30-foot fly speed. Oh, but whenever you spend 3 full consecutive rounds airborne without landing, you gain a level of fatigue, and any fatigue gained this way is removed on finishing a short lane. They knew what was up. I mean, that still lets you go if you were just trying to travel and you were dashing, assuming there's a dash action in this game that's 60, 120, 180 feet before fatigue. So you can definitely climb some walls in that, but it at least gets around a character just flying in, like immediately flying in all combat and staying up there the entire time. I'm not gonna like I don't want to like dig into these too much. Buy the book, please. It was on sale, $20 PDF on Drive-Thru RPG when I bought this like today. Like 30 minutes before beginning this video. Dwarven stability, expertise down saving throws that would knock you prone, or Dwarven toughness, where you get, as a bonus action, you can gain a number of temporary hit points. Dwarven culture, elves, the elf gives mystic rapport, magic stuff, prescient vision. Once between rests. It seems like most stuff is regenning on either a short or a long rest so far. So I wonder if there's any rules around how often you can do a short rest. I really like things like focus spells in Pathfinder 2nd edition that then just takes 10 minutes to refocus. So it's kind of it's assumed that you have them available every combat, but it still does require that 10-minute window and the player like actively saying that they are doing so. Gnomes are cool. All of them get the minor illusion cantrip. Gnomish agility, adept at avoiding attacks of the big folk, +1 to your armor class against creatures of a size category larger than your own. I'm assuming this starts. That is, I'd be taking that every time. Or you can turn invisible as a bonus action or a reaction after taking damage. I mean, that's also pretty cool. Halflings get lucky. Lucky is, and that it's not even a rest thing. It's just whenever you roll a 1, you can re-roll the die and must use the new roll. So you just don't critically fail, or you just don't fumble, or you have a exponential, I don't know what it is, extremely rare for a halfling to actually fumble on something, which a little OP. You can get burrowing or tuft feet or twilight. Humans, what can humans do? You get an extra skill proficiency, and it takes you half as much time as normal to train yourself in the use of a suit of armor, tool, or weapon during downtime. That would mean nothing in 5th edition, but assuming that there are real mechanics around that in Level Up, then Intrepid, when you make an ability check, attack roll, or survival roll, you can choose to gain an expertise dice on that roll, and then you can't use that trait. That's pretty, yeah. Not OP like halfling luck, but because that just happens. That's just a static ability that as long as you remember to do it every time you roll a 1, you could re-roll it. Very long odds. I mean, you might still fail, but you probably won't critically fail 2 times in a row. Humans, expertise dice is not as good as advantage on something, or a reroll on something, but it's not nothing. But I hope gifts pretty powerful. Die Hard Survivor, again in 5th edition, Feast and Famine would not be a big deal because most people hand wave supplies and fatigue anyway, but assuming you actually play raw, Level Up could be super useful. Wow, you only die after failing 4 death saving throws instead of 3. That's real. That's powerful. That'll do it. Yeah. And then Ingenious Focus. You can re-roll a failed Constitution saving throw to maintain concentration, and you can use it multiple times depending on your intelligence modifier. I mean, any human spellcasters should use Ingenious Focus. That's extremely powerful. And then you also get, and then you basically, oh shoot, what is that? Where you can't get less than a 10. It's basically assurance from Pathfinder on a skill or tool. Bards double up there for sure, and then wizards definitely, clerics definitely, your marshals, a cleric might have to actually kind of choose. And spirited traveler, you can, when you take the dash action, it doesn't provoke opportunity attacks, and then during that movement you gain an expertise die on acrobatics check made to avoid hazards and dexterity saving throws. The first time between each long rest that you would gain a level of fatigue, you do not gain that level of fatigue. The first time between each long rest that you would, so like it seems like fatigue, there is a real lever that Level Up gives narrators to keep their players in check. So far this doesn't seem like 5th edition, and again, I haven't even really gotten to like the real meat and potatoes of what an advanced 5th edition would be, which is like the class features, the equipment, crafting rules, that kind of stuff. But just based on this, it seems like it definitely feels like playing 5th edition on hard mode, where, you know, you've got to keep supplies, you've got to, like, fatigue is an actual level, like a consequence to certain actions. Really, really interesting. Love the art for this, or subverted expectations, or that's just good storytelling. That's all it is. It's so good. I spent a lot of time on humans. It looks like they are doing some again, like subversion of of a norm with orcs, including and talking about orc culture. Plain touch, these are your tieflings. Aasimar and tieflings falling into the same heritage. Probably smart. Or a culture. Oh no, that was a heritage, and then they're just plain touch is a rare heritage. And cultures, let's just look at let's pick one, and let's look at cosmopolitan and kind of see the things that come along with a culture. Cosmopolitans grew up in one of the world's largest, most diverse cities. Folks tend to have polarized opinions on the city, either love it or hate it. It's true. Characters raised in the Cosmopolitan have a variety of traits in common with one another. Discreetly armed. Even while armed, you know how to be discreet and non-threatening. You gain an expertise die on checks made to persuade others to let you remain armed or to conceal weapons or items about your person. Fashion sense. You know how to read people through their clothes and bearing. If you spend a minute observing a creature within 60 feet, you can check to see if they have a lower charisma than you, what their culture and origin is, and what their social standing might be. Skill versatility. You gain proficiency in culture and one other skill. Urban denizen, you know your way around big cities and know how to find people. So if you make an investigation check to learn the location of a person, it is like you can do that, which is cool. And then you gain an extra connection selected from a background of your choice. Person is of a different heritage or national origin than yourself, and then 2 extra languages. Super cool. I love that. That's really, really cool. Big fan of culture here. I think it's being implemented really well with these little mechanical things that I could see folks forgetting, because it's not something that's going to come up a lot. But because it's not going to come up a lot, you can actually pick a culture that fits your character instead of feeling to need one that gives you certain advantageous stuff for whatever the campaign. Yeah, all these seem really, really cool. They all have similar amounts of things. Like Mountain Dwarf gives you specific weapons and armor training. Heart of the Forge reduce or resistance to fire damage, proficiency in engineering, naturally adapted to cold climates when making a history check related to the origin of stonework. Yeah, very cool. Love culture. I think that's very cool. And also something that you could add, I'm sure they've built more and easy to homebrew, create something, some third-party stuff for it as well. Immediately I see them with a call out for making a background, which is perfect. It should include a +1 to 2 ability scores of your choice, proficiency in 2 skills, proficiency in 2 tools, 2 language, or 1 of each. A connection. I love the connection bit. That's so awesome to codify that into the character creation process. Memento, sentimental value worth less than 30 gold. And then a background feature describing your relationship to the world typically provides a source of information, shelter, or financial support in a certain. So let's just pick out one of these again, and we'll read it and see kind of the stuff that it provides. Let's do guild member. Never hurts to be part of a team. You could do could be a trade or artisans guild, order of mages or monster hunters, or entry into a secretive guild of thieves or assassins. So love that. Kind of pretty broad. So +1 to Constitution and 1 other ability score. This would be good for everybody. Everybody needs a +1 to Constitution, and then you get to pick whichever one your main class. 2 skill proficiency of your choice, a type of artisan tools, a musical instrument or vehicle, and then there's a set of suggested equipment with the feature guild business. While in a city or town, you can maintain a moderate lifestyle by plying your trade. Furthermore, the guild occasionally informs you of jobs that need doing. Completing such a job might require performing a downtime activity or might require a full adventure. The guild provides a modest reward if you're successful. Once you've completed several quests or endeavors advancing guild business, you may be promoted to guild officer, gives you access to more lucrative contract, and the guild supports you at a moderate lifestyle without you having to. Then connection memento, roll d20, choose or make up your own. Oh, cool. So you're getting random tables for connections or mementos, and you can just pick. Love that. Very, very cool. And there's a decent amount, but the fact that they tell you how to make one is perfect and ideal. And what would probably end up happening is you would find one that's close enough and then either, reskin something, but also just an opportunity. If you wanted to create a campaign background or just say, hey, everybody's going to be a guild member because that's part of the story. I think that's really, really nice. Very cool. All right, let's look at Destiny, and then we're going to call it, and this can just be an intro and character creation video. And then if people are interested, or if I'm interested, I'll do follow-ups looking at class. So Destiny. Every hero has something that that drives them forward, an inner spark or outward goal that compels them to risk everything for life adventure. Choosing a destiny provides important role-playing cues and features that help shape your character's identity. Why are they an adventurer? What drives them into a life of danger? Is destiny thrust upon them by circumstance, or do they have a burning desire for a future they wish to claim for their own? Love that. Some destinies or class features grant an alignment trait on the chaotic, evil, good, or lawful scale. Some items or spells may affect creatures with an alignment differently, and you can never have two opposed alignment traits: chaotic, lawful, evil, or good. So they're using alignment, but it seems like it will actually be mechanically. Each destiny has a table of example motivations. Feel free to select or create your own. Then inspiration. The narrator awards inspiration, a resource which gives you an edge in important moments when you roleplay your character according to your destiny. Each destiny has a source of inspiration, which describes acts of roleplaying that should be rewarded with inspiration. Love that. Although it remains at the narrator's discretion, just tell us what it's supposed to happen so that everybody's on the same page. Additionally, the narrator can award inspiration whenever they feel a character has been particularly clever, engaging, or heartfelt in their role playing. Once you have inspiration, you can save it indefinitely. Whenever you or an ally you can see makes an attack roll, saving throw, or an ability check, you may spend your inspiration to grant advantage on that roll. Alternatively, you can spend inspiration to use the inspiration feature unique to your chosen destiny. Ooh. From Pathfinder 2e, inspiration is a mechanic in like standard 5th edition, but nothing great, and usually like hard to pup with. But providing an inspiration feature is great and worthy of handing out inspiration, obviously depending on kind of like what. So there's a fulfillment feature, which we kind of learned about. Even if your destiny remains outside of your grasp, it is close enough at hand that you automatically gain its fulfillment feature when you reach 16. Cool. So, and then if you fulfill your destiny early in a campaign at the narrator's discretion, you may select additional destiny. You retain your original destiny's features and gain the source of inspiration and inspiration of a new destiny, and you cannot gain this. But even just saying like, okay, if you don't have it by level 16, you get it automatically. It's at least enough for a narrator to know like, okay, should at least probably be double-digit levels before they've like really fulfilled their destiny. There's been some. We'll read one of these, maybe two. Let's do like obviously good ones and some obvious like more bad. Let's do Metamorphosis, and then I might roll back up into like Chaos or Metamorphosis. The trappings of daily life stifle you, and the shackles of this mortal coil cannot contain you. People whose destiny is metamorphosis seek to attain a higher mode of being. Some search for enlightenment, but others turn their ambitions even higher, daring to pursue an eternal life in the form of a vampire, lich, demon, or even a god. What will you sacrifice to walk this path? Oh, this is not what I was anticipated. Source of inspiration, unburdening. When you gain this feature, inform your narrator of the new form you desire, such as enlightenment, vampirism, or godhood. You gain inspiration whenever you make sacrifices to attain new lore, context, or items to your transformation. Sever earthly attachments such as wealth or comfort. Behave appropriately akin to your pursued form. Spend inordinate time in your transformation. That was a more loosey than I would have liked. Inspiration feature, unearthly diplomacy. Your unearthly aspiration grants you insights into the minds of even utterly alien beings. As an action, you may spend your inspiration to form a connection with a humanoid creature you can see that has a CR equal to or level than your level. Wow. You can communicate freely, even if you don't share a language or the creature would be normally unable to speak. You have no control over a creature you connect to in this way, but you gain an expertise die on checks made to influence it. The knowledge and awareness of a creature is limited by and then fulfilling your destiny. You fulfill your destiny when you fully change into your desired form. Unlike other destinies, you may not choose to gain your level, and you may not choose to gain your fulfillment feature until after level. So achieve a level of divinity, become immortal, access primal knowledge. That's flexible there. Permanently transcend your natural state. Called forever changed. You have finally reached the apex and it becomes something greater than previous self. When you gain this feature, consult with your narrator about the exact change in nature of your metamorphosis. And if your adventurer would still choose to remain adventuring after transformation, the answer should be no. You don't want a god walking around in your adventuring party, but even though I guess at level 16, 17, this is not terribly far off than how most normal people would view as level 17 plus adventurer. If you would remain an adventurer, You may choose and become an appropriate creature with a CR equal to or lower than your class level -2, as per the spell True Polymorph, except that this transformation is permanent and cannot be dispelled. If your character would not remain an adventurer, you may use a portion of your new power however you see fit, as if the wish spell before ascend. That's insane. Like, very cool. I would be really, as a narrator, that's not, I could see destinies being something I would limit at my table. The stories I prefer to tell, I don't necessarily tell PC driven stories. And I think I would be pretty uncomfortable. I wouldn't know how to handle a PC chasing metamorphosis unless it was like a wizard or monk, something along those lines, trying to achieve just like a certain mental state of enlightenment. Like monk, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, but like someone trying to become a god, someone trying to become a lich, someone trying to become a vampire. Those are things that's not necessarily a story I would want to tell, but sounds great. I love that there's a mechanic for it. I think they gave me, I wonder, like, let's look at coming of age to see if there's like a level guidance here. Special feature, finding yourself. Sometimes it takes a journey to find yourself. You may exchange this destiny for another destiny at any time. Yes, to adventure, you draw inspiration from setting out with adventure in front of you. You gain inspiration whenever you achieve a personal milestone, like joining a new guild or organization, travel somewhere new and far from home, accept a new major quest or mission, change worldviews, and grow as a person. With a feature ready to learn, you haven't had training in everything, but you're determined to give it your all anyway. As a bonus action, you may spend your inspiration to gain proficiency with a weapon, armor, skill, or tool for the next hour. Love that. Really cool. Then fulfilling your destiny whenever you complete your hero's journey, returning to your homeland after defeating an immense threat, becoming the leader of an organization you're lowly in, learn the truth of life. More straightforward, what I was expecting. Fulfillment feature returned. With the journey complete, you finally know who you are, or rather who you became along the way. When you gain this feature, you immediately choose the fulfillment feature from another destiny, and you gain this chosen. Interesting. So then you basically pick, like, your fulfillment feature is just the ability to pick another person's fulfillment feature. Gives you a lot of options, I guess. A little disappointing. I think I would probably want to rework Adventure or like come up with its own. I get what they're shooting for though. All right, yeah. Next up is classes. I'm just gonna quickly look at the table of classes. Oh, there's a lot of them. Just to get excited, a little tease, a little cliffhanger, and I will do another video another day looking at a couple of classes. Comment down below which ones you are most interested in seeing in that video. Why don't we do that? If you see a class here in this table that you would be interested in getting a deep dive, not an explainer, but just a like first look at deep dive, let me know. I'm not going to do them all because you should buy the PDF. So Adept is a living weapon that hones their control over a body and mind and channels their unwavering focus to achieve amazing feats, dexterity and wisdom. So it sounds like a monk. Bard, yep, we know them. Berserker, that's a barbarian, even though they are armored. Interesting. I like that a lot. Big hit die player, clerics, simple weapons, no armor. Okay, so there's this switch up. I mean, there might be some subclasses or sub themes of cleric that gives you like a war cleric where you can wear armor. But just simple weapons, a holy guardian, wisdom, primary ability. Druid, standard stuff, non-metals, wisdom. So we have a fighter, which is a D10, strength or dexterity, a wide variety of weapons and combat maneuvers. Then we have a herald, an oath-bound warrior driven by the inner strength to champion their cause through might and holy magic. So that's your paladin, charisma, primary ability, and then proficient in wisdom. D10 and not D12, proficient in all armors, shields, and all weapons. Martial, natural leader and master of the art of strategic warfare who inspires others to greatness. A charisma-based, does it say anything about a pet? Dexterity, wisdom. So these, it looks like they are dex-based, though they do have up to medium armor, shields, and weapons. Rogue, dex, we know them. Sorcerer, magic wielder whose power strings forth from an innate element of their blood or heritage, charisma based still, our first d6. Warlock, spell slinger who obtained arcane powers through an eldritch bargain with an otherworldly entity. Intelligence, wisdom, or charisma, love that. And then wizard, we know them. D6 intelligence. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 classes to potentially look at in the next video. Leave a comment which one or two you would love to see the most. If you see somebody else already doing it, upvote theirs, comment again, whatever works. Thank you so much for watching. This has been kind of intro, my first look at Level Up Advanced 5th Edition from EN Publishing. PDF is available on their website or on DriveThru RPG. Just look up Level Up, or from their by their name, EN Publishing. They have multiple stuff out, including a couple of, like, this isn't the only book in this system. Was just published 2 years ago. Updated PDF. So if you're interested in exploring something outside of Wizards of the Coast, you're not necessarily looking for backwards compatibility, but you aren't looking to relearn everything, this looks like a really cool option. And if Pathfinder 2e just seems like a lot, or you don't like some of the design decisions that they made and prefer other stuff with 5th edition, check this out. Or even if you are a Pathfinder person, but you just kind of want to like see what other people are doing in this space, like EN Publishing seems like a really great company to kind of check out and drop a $20 bill on a PDF just to kind of like look at all this stuff and get involved. So thanks so much for watching. Like and comment if you like. If you're not subscribed, you can or don't. I don't do this regularly, just when the whim hits. I'm not probably going to be creating a ton of more Pathfinder content because I am now no more first looks, because I've kind of looked at all the Pathfinder stuff. I use it for my home game, and but I'm still learning the ropes. So I don't know if I'm going to be creating like I'm not a expert at the system. I don't spend a lot of time day in day out with it. So like, please go check out other Pathfinder creators. If you came here looking for a ton of Pathfinder content and I'm not getting it, go check out the Light Good. And I hope that there will be more in the future, especially post OTC OGL. So hope you have a lovely day. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.